In the second on point, we look at the bill to crack down on urban. Now let's take a quick look at the headlines. Maharashtra Minister Sanjay Shirsat caught with cash in video shared on social media by Uddhav Sena leader Sanjay Raut. At IIT Madras convocation, NSA Ajit Doval said that the entire operation was conducted in 29 minutes. Mumbai police takes cognizance, set to file case against Shinde Sena MLA Sanjay Gaikwad for slapping canteen staff. On World Population Day, Stalin says Tamil Nadu leads in population control, yet delimitation would punish the progress. Structural failure caused Vadodara bridge collapse, says Gujarat Minister Rishikesh Patel. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi says BJP attempting to steal election through the back door in Bihar. Shivanshu Shukla to leave International Space Station on July 14th, says Axiom. FIR against AAP over doctored video of Punjab Congress leader Pratap Bajwa. Iran can recover enriched uranium buried under Isfahan nuclear site that was bombed by US, warns Israeli officials. In a sensational murder, 25-year-old tennis player Radhika Yadav was shot dead by her father at their family home in Gurgaon's Sushant Lok neighborhood. Her father Deepak Yadav, who confessed to killing his daughter, a former national level tennis player, has been arrested. Deepak shot Radhika in the back while she was preparing food in the kitchen on Thursday morning. Uncle Kuldeep Yadav, who lives on the ground floor, heard gunshots, rushed upstairs to find Radhika lying on the kitchen floor. The murder weapon, a licensed .32 bore revolver, left in the drawing room. Radhika was taken to Maringo Asia Hospital, where doctors pronounced her dead. So the question is as to why was she killed? Is it because she was an independent earner and it bruised the male ego? She had a good tennis career, but it was cut short by an injury, and so came the work she did. Police is also investigating if Deepak was upset over Radhika's Instagram reels, which led to the shooting. Was it a case of male honor and conservative male outlook? Police will put out the final detail, but we in News9 spoke with Inamul Haq, the actor and singer who featured in the video.
आप दोनों ने साथ काम किया, कभी ऐसा हुआ उन्होंने अपनी फैमिली या कुछ पर्सनल इश्यूज के बारे में या किसी प्रॉब्लम के बारे में आपके साथ डिस्कस किया हो?
तो मैं आपको ये बोलना चाहूंगा कि मेरी उनके साथ में कुछ भी पर्सनल ही बातचीत नहीं, और वो बहुत कम बात करती थी, मैं भी बहुत कम बात करता हूँ। हमारी कोई भी जो प्रोफेशनल रिलेशन है ना, मैं वो बोल सकता हूँ। राधिका के साथ में मेरा प्रोफेशनल कनेक्ट है, जैसे हमेशा और एक्ट्रेसेस के साथ में रहा है। मैं जो गाने करके आया हूँ म्यूजिक वीडियो या एज एन एक्टर, सिर्फ इतना है कि वहां पर हमने अपनी पर्सनल लाइफ, शायद मैं भी एक ऐसा शख्स हूँ कि मैंने इससे पहले भी किसी एक्ट्रेस की पर्सनल लाइफ में पूछा नहीं, ना उसने मुझे बताया कि क्या चल रहा है लाइफ में। तो ऐसा मुझे उनके बारे में कुछ भी नहीं पता पर्सनल।
पहली मुलाकात जब आपकी हुई, जब आप काम एक साथ कर रहे थे, तो वो कहाँ पर हुई, इसके बारे में अगर आप थोड़ा बता सकें।
मैं सेलेक्सी एक कंपनी है, उसमें क्रिएटिव हेड था, एंड हमने पंजाब टाइगर टेनिस टीम ली थी, एंड उसके को फाउंडर तापसी कन्नू थी, ओनर रविंदर सिंह सर थे। हम पुणे, दिल्ली, अलग अलग जगह एक तरह से टेस्ट मैच बोल सकते हैं, क्या बोलते हैं, मुझे स्पोर्ट्स की नॉलेज नहीं है, हम वो कर रहे थे। और राधिका जूनियर टीम में थी और सीनियर टीम अलग अलग था। जूनियर टीम में राधिका जब वहाँ पे टेनिस में खेल रहे थे, तो मेरा डीओपी उनको शूट कर रहा था और मेरी टीम बड़ी थी काफी। फिर उसका इंटरव्यू भी लिया, तो मेरी टीम को वो काफी अच्छी लगी। उन्होंने मुझे आके बताया कि एक लड़की है, वो कैमरा पर बहुत अच्छा लुक आ रहा है और बहुत अच्छा कर रही है। मैंने बोला ज्यादा से ज्यादा शूट करो। करो शूट। फिर मुझे पास दोबारा मेरी टीममेट आई, बोली कि उनको एक्टिंग में कुछ करना है, नाम दिया बताइएगा, क्योंकि हम लोग ऑलरेडी म्यूजिक वीडियो या एड्स, टीवी एड्स बनाते आए थे। मैंने बोला ठीक है, कुछ होगा तो बताऊंगा। ओके, उसके बाद जब हम लोग इवेंट्स करके आते हैं तो हमको हर कोई फॉलो करता है जो हमको जानता है। 15-20 फॉलोवर्स आते हैं जिनको हम जानते हैं, हम उनको फॉलो बैक भी करते हैं। उसमें से एक राधिका भी थी। फिर नॉर्मली रील्स पर हाई हेलो जैसे होता है कि हाँ हाँ मेरी आपसे मुलाकात हुई थी, आपने पहचाना? मैं हाँ हाँ मैंने पहचाना, इतना ठीक है। उसके बाद हम एक म्यूजिक वीडियो शूट कर रहे थे 1 साल बाद कुछ, तो जीशान अहमद उसमें एक्टिंग भी कर रहे थे। तो सब लोग अपने दिल्ली की जो एक्ट्रेस थी उनका ग्रुप में शेयर कर रहे थे प्रोफाइल, तो मैंने भी शेयर किया 2-3 लोगों का, उसमें राधिका भी थी। राधिका हमने कैंसिल कर दिया क्योंकि जीशान थोड़े बड़े थे एज में, उस टाइम कैंसिल हो गया कि नहीं यार ये यंग है। देन जीशान भाई ने मना किया कि मैं नहीं करना चाह रहा, फैमिली को इश्यूज, फैमिली की वजह से बोले मेरी वाइफ मना कर रही है, म्यूजिक वीडियो शूट वगैरह मत करो, इनाम एक काम करो तुम एक्टिंग कर लो, तो मेरे छोटे भाई। मैंने बोला लास्ट मोमेंट पे ऐसे कैसे होगा, तो हमने अगेन कास्ट को चेंज किया। मैंने वहाँ पर नोएडा में शॉपिंग की, राधिका को बोला कि राधिका मेरा स्क्रीन पे सही आ रहा था, तो राधिका फाइनल हुआ। राधिका की गूगल मीट डायरेक्टर सर के साथ में हुई, राधिका फिर सेट पर आई। ये मेरी सेकंड मुलाकात राधिका से। वहाँ पर हमने गाना शूट करा एंड राधिका की मदर भी वहाँ पर थी। राधिका ने मुझे वहाँ बताया कि उनके फादर को जब मैंने गाना सुनाया राधिका ने, तो उनको बहुत अच्छा लगा। तो इसका मतलब वो वहाँ से परमिशन लेकर आई थी। ही आज ये न्यूज आई है मेरे सामने और ये मेरे लिए शॉकिंग है कि यार ये क्या हो गया। और उससे बड़ी बात ये है कि लोग जो कमेंट्स कर रहे हैं कि ये हिंदू मुस्लिम एंगल जो ले रहे हैं, मैं बोला ये क्या हो रहा है, मेरा कोई लेना देना नहीं, कितनी भी जांच कर ले, कुछ जो है वो जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ वही आने वाला है और मेरा कोई ताल्लुकात नहीं, और वो उनकी फैमिली भी उनको बता देगी। तो ये थोड़ा गलत है कि वन साइड स्टोरी देखने के बाद लोग जजमेंटल हो रहे हैं और बोल रहे हैं कि इसकी वजह से हुआ है, इसकी वजह से, और मैं जानता तक नहीं।
अच्छा, इस दौरान कभी उन्होंने इस तरह की कभी आपसे बात की, क्योंकि कई सोर्सेज से खबर ये भी आ रही थी कि उनके फादर को रील से कुछ प्रॉब्लम थी, उनके रील बनाने से, तो कभी इस तरह की बात डिस्कशन में आपके आई जब आपने साथ काम किया? तो
नहीं कुछ भी नहीं आई मुझे ऐसी उनसे बातचीत, क्योंकि मेरी और उनकी कुछ पर्सनल बात ही नहीं हुई। उनके फादर क्या सोचते हैं, उनके भाई बहन कितने हैं, मुझे कुछ नहीं पता। मैंने सिर्फ उनकी मदर को देखा सेट पर, और शूट खत्म होने के बाद राधिका कब चले गए मुझे पता भी नहीं चला, हाय हेलो बाय कुछ भी नहीं हुआ। तो आप जरा सोचिए कि मेरी उनसे कुछ भी पर्सनल बात नहीं हुई है। रील्स लोग बहुत गर्ल्स अपलोड करती हैं, बिल्कुल सच बात है, बहुत लोगों की फैमिली आज भी खुश नहीं है और बहुत लोग खुश होते हैं। तो ये हो सकता है कोई और वजह हो सकती है कुछ भी, बट मेरा कहीं से भी कुछ नहीं।
My colleague Gaurav Handa spoke to him. Now, relatives reportedly mocked Radhika's father, saying he was living off his daughter's income, which hurt his ego. Police says Radhika's father, Deepak Yadav, has admitted it. He was furious over her daughter running her own tennis academy.
पुलिस के द्वारा केस की इन्वेस्टिगेशन की जा रही है। जैसी पुलिस को इन्फॉर्मेशन मिली, पुलिस हॉस्पिटल गई, उसके बाद घर की विजिट की गई है। वहाँ से जो भी साइंटिफिक एविडेंसेस थे, पुलिस की साइंटिफिक एविडेंस की टीम के द्वारा वो कलेक्ट किए गए हैं। जो भी पूरा ही इन्वेस्टिगेशन पुलिस के द्वारा एक साइंटिफिक तरीके से किया जा रहा है। फिलहाल तक जो चीज़ें सामने आई हैं उसमें वो जो पिता थे वो अपनी बेटी के टेनिस अकेडमी चलाने से नाराज़ थे और इसी नाराज़गी के चलते उन्होंने इस हत्या की वारदात को अंजाम दिया है।
And now, let me play out a ground report, because this story is not only about Radhika Yadav. This story is about how perverted sense of male ego, perverted sense of male honor, perverted sense of what it means to be the man, and how you can control women in your family or society, and everything you say should become a diktat. And it should remind us that despite being educated and successful living in cities, mindsets are so difficult to change. But let me play out this ground report and then I want to introduce my guests.
सबसे पहले मैं तस्वीरें दिखा रही हूँ राधिका के घर की, जहाँ पर राधिका फर्स्ट फ्लोर पर रहती थी और जहाँ पर उसका मर्डर हुआ। तो वो तस्वीरें आप देख सकते हैं कि इसी फर्स्ट फ्लोर पर कल राधिका की माँ मंजू का बर्थडे भी था और वो मंजू के लिए खाना बना रही थी अपनी माँ के लिए किचन में। उसी वक्त पिता जो हैं सुबह 10 साढ़े 10 बजे के आसपास आते हैं और उस पर गोली चलाते हैं। मैं आपको तस्वीरें भी दिखा रही हूँ उसी एकेडमी की, जिसकी वजह से उसके फादर ने उसकी हत्या की, ये बात उन्होंने पुलिस के सामने कबूली है। तो वो वो तस्वीरें मैं आपको दिखा रही हूँ जहाँ पर वो जो है युवाओं को टेनिस के गुर सिखाती थी और यहाँ से जो अर्निंग होती थी इसकी वजह से लोगों ने ताने मारे कि आप पेटी की कमाई खा रहे हैं। तो ये बात उन्होंने कबूल की है पुलिस के सामने। हालांकि एक रील और एक वीडियो भी वायरल हो रहा है जिस पर कहा जा रहा है उसको बनाने की वजह से वो नाराज थे।
So the big question is patriarchal rage fueling crime against women in our cities? Our Instagram reel triggering discontent in society? But my biggest issue is what does one do with the sense of male honor? I think that's at the heart of the story. This perverted sense of male honor and entitlement. I'm joined by Priti Banerjee, social activist and social entrepreneur. Thank you so much, madam, for joining me. I'm joined by Dr. Rachna Khanna Singh, psychologist and founder director of the Mind and the Wellness Studio. Thank you, madam. Brinda Rige, activist, director, Global Concerns India. Thank you, madam. Rekha Agarwal, advocate, Supreme Court, social activist. Thank you, ma'am. And Ishika Taneja, spiritual and motivational leader. Thank you. Thank you all of you for joining me. It's a sad story, but it tells us what we as Indians need to do to change it. My first question to Priti, and this is an opening comment I would like to take from everyone, is despite education, despite vocation, despite living in urban areas, despite being open access to modern ideas, the social conservatism and the sense of male entitlement and sense of male ego as the final say in family and society doesn't change. Why?
Thank you so much. This is the most terrifying thought which is actually going on my mind also. Whatever the formal investigation and beyond the courtrooms, we must also question how safe our daughters truly are, not on the streets, but inside their own homes. This tragedy should push us to strengthen conversation around gender biases, the stigmatized issues, the social stigma around the families where a girl, if she is working, if she is into leadership, a lot of question happens within the society, and that push the family in such way that a father who have given birth to the child has pushed to some extent that this is not justifiable at any cost. So it is a big question, like how safe our daughters still are when they are in the urban society.
Okay, Brinda, your opening comments?
We know that they hail from a state where Khap Panchayat is the norm. Men are constantly told that they can control women, especially women in their families and women outside. Nobody can make any singular decision for themselves or their lives. And he is lying as far as I can think of, because no father would say that, I've just had an argument because of people saying, taunting him about it. He seems to have been, very, very clear that he wants to finish her. 5 bullets, point blank, and making a drama of having an argument. I think we need to go deep to find out why is it that we as a society, as community and the state structures, the police and the court, allow such people to get away saying that these are crimes of passion when they are not just crimes of passion. They are toxic masculinity. Allowing violence on women, saying that's passé, it's okay. That's what is happening everywhere. Nobody is going to punish me any further. And he goes back to his family and he will go back to his community and they will all say, okay, doesn't matter, next life. And that is what we want to challenge today. Women are not anybody's pawns, nor are they possessions of any man or anybody else. They are human beings and they have their own self-worth and agency. The state and my constitution must recognize this.
Okay, Dr. Rachna Khanna Singh, I mean to say, why is it difficult when a woman says no? I mean to say, a man can say no to a man and it's okay. A man can say no to a woman for it is okay. If a woman says no to a man, why is it not okay? I mean to say, and why is it so difficult for any man to say that if my daughter is earning more than me, if she has become financially, isn't that a cause to celebrate? that your child has
Absolutely.
become independent. And look at the tragedy.
Should we-
No one is talking about it. You
Absolutely.
see, she had an injury and she still made something of her life. She had a shoulder injury.
Correct. So instead of the feeling of pride, what should be generated by a parent, there is a person who is a child who is so successful. But I think this boils down to one. We need to understand that there definitely seems to be a certain condition of mental health illness of some sort. There could be an underlying depression, is what we are understanding. Does that justify a killing? Not at all. But yes, there does seem to be some sort of concern coming from that end also. And of course, we cannot forget, as both our speakers also rightly put in, that there is a large amount of ego and male ego and a patriarchal mindset which is embedded in our system. Although a lot is changing, it's not that it's not changing yet. A lot needs to be changed very, very rapidly. What we are seeing, the third thing which we are seeing, is the untamed rage and anger. And if you're seeing, of course, this is a bizarre incident, but if we see in the last few months and especially a year, every other day we are hearing some insane incidences where people are, chopping a spouse, putting them in a suitcase. Somebody boiled a small, newborn baby yesterday. So, this is going out of hand. You see, the anger, which is the incipient anger, which is there, that needs to also be addressed, which is a part of what is happening. Is low-grade anxiety and low-grade anger is becoming a part of the norm in the society, and that has started to being accepted. One thing. And the second thing is the importance one must give to mental health, to understand that there is, the stats are showing, 1 in every 3 or 4 people having some mental health concerns. So if the stats are so high, the overload on the society is so high, we have people like this walking around every day. Why is it that they are not reaching out for help? Why is it that the
I understand. I kind of agree with you. But let me go across to Rekha Agarwal. But this rage killing is more pronounced with daughters. This rage killing is less pronounced when it comes to boys. I mean, if you look at South Asia, in this rage killing, the victims are primarily women. I do not recall in my career, I started my career in 1998, where I have heard of rage killing by a family where boy has been killed like that. I don't recall. There may be, but there may be very few. But women, girls, I think it's pretty much well documented, and it happens out of social moves, the cultural context, and less with mental health. Rekha Agarwal.
All I can say over here is this is murder most foul. Nothing can justify it. Whether it is a patriarchal mindset or whether he was upset over his daughter, running an academy, and he did not agree with her lifestyle. Whether people were taunting her that she's doing something which is probably doesn't suit the lifestyle of the father. Whether he was living off her income or whether he was not. Keeping all those things aside, whether he was undergoing depression, anything at all will not justify what Deepak Yadav has done. What can be seen that he has killed her. This is a cold-blooded murder. So in the eyes of law, there are some murders which can be, some killings, which can fall under the category of exceptions, what we call provisos. For example, grave provocation, or to save your own life. So certainly this murder which has been committed, upon this young girl, Radhika, by her own father, would not fall in the category of any exception which law would pardon or condone or, take it in a lighter manner because, certainly because if she was running her tennis academy, this cannot be grave provocation or a sudden provocation. This can certainly not be, for saving your own life or, in self-defense. So these are the exceptions under which a murder can be, taken as, culpable homicide not amounting to murder or, and a lighter sentence can be given. But this is a clear case, which is a well-planned murder. There is what is called a mens rea attached to it. In a legal parlance, but the words that we used to call mens rea. Was there an intention to kill? Yes. there was an intention to kill, because if this was building up, I'm just going by what the media reports are, that the villagers and probably some relatives and friends, were taunting him. So he had an intention to kill, it was building up. Plus, he knew the result of his action, that if I shoot, she is going to die. This was not just a blow, not just a slap or a punch which he gave out of anger. He used his revolver to kill her. He used his pistol to kill her. So he was very much certain of the outcome of his action, and he pumped in not one bullet but 5 bullets, 3 of which hit the girl. So I think this is one of those cases where the prosecution will certainly be able to prove the guilt of the accused person, and this would not fall in any exceptional category where he can be pardoned. And any amount, I think it's of course, as the other speakers have spoken so eloquently about the mental health issues, as well as the patriarchal mindset. And also, I think that one thing I would just like to say over here is that probably society at large also is. This is just a random thought which has come in my mind. This is not something to do with my legal expertise on this matter. But I would just say that society, to some extent, it also gets responsible, where we not only this particular dad, who's living with a feudal mindset or a patriarchal mindset, but society at large thinks that daughters should be the parents should not be dependent on the daughter in any manner, financial manner. And if they do that, that is something which the parents are kind of looked upon. And a lot of comparisons are made, sometimes even between brothers and sisters, So I think that kind of a jealousy, that kind of a hatred, kind of keeps building up. Unfortunately, this is a case, one of those unbelievable cases, because whatever amount of provocation was there, whatever amount of hatred that may be building up inside the father's mind, but just don't go and shoot. You can't be so trigger happy. You just can't walk inside the kitchen where she's got no chance to run away. So this is nothing but a clear case of murder, where I think that the prosecution will be able to prove the guilt of the accused person, and the man cannot be pardoned.
It is so strange. It is so strange that in Indian tradition, and I don't want to stereotype this conversation that we worship Devi and then we kill women. We have such a plural tradition that the most beautiful pose of Lord Vishnu is actually the effeminate one.
Yes.
The most beautiful portrait of Lord Vishnu is the one in which he is effeminate.
Yes.
So we have Ishika, we have such a powerful tradition. For example, Ardhanareshwar, where femininity, women, both in context of nurture, nature and culture, is so beautifully represented and understood, and there such heinous acts get conducted.
I kind of agree with all the panelists here, and it's very sad when the woman starts growing her wings, the father reaches out for the gun, and we can just clearly mark this as a patriarchal mindset. And we do understand that it is coming from the roots of the education system that we are seeing these days. If it was a Sanatanic mindset, it would not really happen. And this I'm really looking at the reason why it actually happened, the kind of depression. If anybody is even mocking if a father has been mocked by the society, I have to look at why the society is mocking him. B, why is he being triggered by that mockery? And see, how dare he take that action? Because it is so sad when we see a father killing his own child. That too, when a woman is not safe in her own house, it is really a black mark on our society. So what I really understand is that we need to start growing together as a family. We need to start discussing our problems, start discussing our issues. We need to go deeper. And I also feel that we need to look at women with pride rather than shame when they're empowering the entire family.
I think, Brinda, you wanted to get in. My whole response to this was, I think the safety first starts with the worldview. Your view needs to be safe, then your child will be safe. It requires some sort of an education, some sense of fairness to understand the gender and sex are two different things. But anyway, to you, madam, it's not for me to speak today. Brinda. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We must place on record that all dharmas across the world are very patriarchal and relegate all women to some corner of silence and piety and roles where she must be happy about. So let's not get into that part of it. What we want to address today is a progressive mindset to say that if I have a culture of 15,000 years, women were always upheld. Now, somewhere along the line, we brought in a lot of religion, tradition, conservatism, and started saying that now you need to live under the control of the man. And the education that we are having today, one part of what I agree with that, with one of the previous panelists, is we have constrained ourselves to subjects. We are not educating our children. We are not teaching them ethics or morals or values. And with due respect to everybody, our media, our films, and our TVs reiterate this again and again. So there are social and political and religious sanctions saying that gender equality is unacceptable. That this gender equality, which my constitution guarantees me, I will not give to you because of my feudal mindset, my patriarchal, misogynistic, sexist mindset. That is what we want to challenge today. And that is what we have to ask also, why should courts or anybody else say that this man was insecure? And like Advocate Madam pointed out, no excuse whatsoever. Let us place on record, courts have a responsibility today. They have to set an example, a precedent with this case to say this was murder. There was no remorse in him. He came planned for it. This has been brewing for quite some time. She might have probably said that I will be deciding what is right and best for me. And she's an adult. Absolutely. So what is wrong with the father?
Absolutely.
And the mother doesn't want to make a statement. So let's put all this into perspective and say, today we want our state agencies to start reiterating that women have their own agencies which must and should be respected.
Yeah, Preeti, you wanted to come in, but there's an aspect, I understand what you're saying. It's like when you use the word toxicity, there's a part of it when I saw Adolescence in Netflix, that multi-layering of toxicity was addressed, in which the boy behaved and even the girl behaved. But the fact of the matter is, the context of our toxicity in India is slightly different from the toxicity which is in West. There are different cultural roots. Preeti, first to you, and then I'll go to Dr. Rachna.
Yes. While we are having this conversation, there is always a thought there is in my mind, which says that there is a basic difference between being literate and being educated. So while we are talking about education, there are multiple people in our society, in families, where we see there are people who are educated, they are well professionally, they are well settled and everything, but still we also, I'm sure that every one of us have encountered such people where it is very comfortable talking about, we are very we don't judge by gender, हमारे लिए लड़का लड़की दोनों बराबर हैं, हमारे लिए females doesn't matter and male both are equal, we want our daughters to we always clap, we see cinemas and pictures and we see daughters are doing so good, but when it happens in our family, there is a difference, because the one of the respected panelists also said that the principles and morals, there is a question there that what we are practicing. I mean, we are at 2025. 1 second, let me just complete this thing. We are at 2025. We have access of all the information, all the conversation we have. But what we are choosing, it what matters.
Okay. And there is also another point, Dr. Rachna. It's also that the burden of tradition is always on women. For example, if I may use the example of Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, the burden of the tradition is always on the woman. The burden of the tradition is not on the man. So, again, in the Indian context, it's a different thing. And this toxicity reflects in multiple forms.
So if you see, it's a complete dichotomy by itself. You see, there's a complete dichotomy in exactly what the panelists and we are saying, that what we would wish to today to be what we would wish the women to be raised as versus what is still happening in the homes. The toxic patterns, the misogynistic patterns, the patriarchal patterns are very much existent, and not only in the raising of the woman child at home, which is very, very transparent when you see a big difference in how the male child is being treated and how the female child is being treated. We are seeing a change, but the change is not as rapid as it should be. And then as she grows older, the burden and the responsibility not only now is like exactly what you said, it should have been Yadana Aresha Roop, right? The yin and the yang, the balance of the feminine and the masculine energies. Ideal, that is the ideal way we should be, we should be enveloping it in our lives, in our society, but actually that is totally not what is happening. Today there's a tilt. The tilt is that the woman is still expected, there is a lot more still being expected. So the paradox is that the paradoxical situation, the paradoxical toxicity is the expectation of a woman still to now go out, earn, still have the traditional value system in place, and there is a lot of pressure coming onto the woman there as well. And yet we see men not appreciating or even acknowledging that. So that has become, the tilt is there. So the hope is that now, with the society, with more educated people,
but you see,
more understanding of society, more people should be.
I think, madam, where the flaw is, what happens is, I know, Rekha Agarwal, you want to come in. You have sporadic outrage, but you don't have regular conversations on this subject. I think that's a larger problem in modern media narrative. You can have your outrage movements, Twitter, Insta, social media, and like a schizophrenic, you can forget about it the next day or day after tomorrow. But there is not a regular conversation about these issues. Madam, to you, you wanted to come in, you had raised your hand.
May I?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just want to add over here that though I may be digressing from the issue, but as I'm certain everybody is aware about the fact that the Supreme Court, in its landmark judgment a few years ago, has given equal rights to the daughters in their father's property. And having done that, the Honorable Supreme Court has also said that if a daughter asks for a right in the property, she also has an equal duty towards her parents. So even if a daughter gets married, she morally and legally has a duty towards her parents to support them if the parents are in trouble or if they need her help. So I wonder that now, even when the courts are recognizing this fact, that daughters are as equal as the sons, and if the sons have a duty towards their parents or towards their aged parents, so do daughters. So on one hand, the court is also recognizing this fact, but the male ego, as in this particular case, the male
is it male ego or the whole idea, madam, of this pariah dhan, very documented in social films and reinforced it? Because traditionally, I understand the movement of women from one house to another is a social fact, but the idea of a pariah dhan is something which is a cultural construct.
Absolutely, and from the very moment that a girl child is born, the mothers, they start kind of saving their money, and of course now times have changed, and they stop, ki kadhai karke bed cover banana, sari banana. So the olden days, those kind of things, so saving all the jewelry for the daughter. But now in this particular case, as has happened, the father has also, I'm a little perplexed that as from what I read from the media reports, the father has probably put in 2 crore rupees in the tennis academy. And that is why the daughter, Radhika has said that you've already put in so much of money, let this academy flourish. But the father was not willing to accept the progress which was being made by his daughter. And if there was a running income which was being generated from this academy, and that was helping the father to, kind of survive, that was like a, survival mode for him. Why can't parents accept any kind of, financial help that their children may be given? Why can't they accept it with more respect, in a more, in a more rightful manner? Why should anybody feel ashamed? I mean, if you've done enough for your sons, you've done enough for your daughters.
No, madam, there is also another thing. There is also another thing, madam. Sociologically, it's a flawed sense of male honor. Ishika, if you can speak about it, it's like if a woman is subjected to sexual violence, you dishonor So in popular narrative, it's about you have dishonored male honor. It's like the male honor, but there is no conversation on the violence on a woman's body. She might be able to live with it without any stigma attached to it. She can, get over, any sexual violence. But male honor is unrepairable, and it has to be avenged. And it is a cause of societal violence. And you look at all the social media debates, madam.
Yes. Absolutely, because see, this is not about the finance at all. It was more about the misogyny or the patriarchal mindset, as we discussed before. Because this is about his ego. He couldn't just take it. He was happy. Otherwise, if a father is earning so much from the daughter, should be full of pride. But it was not really happening. He was actually feeling dishonored at his own house. That how can a woman do so well? It was not about people mocking him. See, if it wasn't really coming from his own mindset, nobody, no matter how much people would mock you or would tell you this is wrong or this is right, you will still not take that action. And he knew the repercussions of those actions. It was very much intended. The problem is that always that burden, a woman has to, bear it on her shoulders. Whether it's about taking the family forward, whether it is about, following the rituals of the entire family, everything, it is always, and all the honor killings is always done for the woman. It is never done for the son. And it is really, we are right now in 2025 and we are still discussing such basic issues. It's kind of sad.
Brinda, I think you had a wide public contact in terms of meeting people. In your experience, what sustains this male honor? I mean to say, what sustains this male honor in our society, Brinda?
Constant social sanctions within the family and out there in the community, and of course our media. We constantly portray that. We keep showing that this is the role of a woman. And we attach another adverb and adjective, good woman. So a good woman will not back answer. A good woman doesn't come out and talk about domestic violence. A good woman listens to her parents. She doesn't fall in love and marry somebody of her choice. A good woman dare not make decisions. So this is constantly reiterated. And in this reiteration, we see that, like it has been pointed out, the woman is burdened with upholding the so-called prestige of the family. It is okay if she dies, if she commits suicide. Even today we have villages and places where if a woman is raped, she is married off to the rapist. And everybody agrees that she can be married off. In this age and time, we still have hospitals that will give a spoon of sugar when a baby girl is born, but a huge laddu when a boy is born. We constantly talk about that. We have lessons and chapters and poetry talking that a boy can do anything that he wants, but a girl is helping her mother, going to fetch water. She's taking care of her family. So this is the reiteration that we want to address.
No, you're absolutely right. If you look at the representation of these girls in popular cinema and photographs, she's also robbed of her childhood. It becomes her responsibility, zimmedari, to carry the little kid brother. But very rarely you will find the same with a boy doing that for a girl. I'm not saying that the boys don't do it for their sisters. They do it. But the representation of a young girl child, it is okay to see her carrying the kid boy, it's like that. That's the way nature has dreamed of you. But I don't think it's nature. I think it is cultural. I think it's cultural. Rekha, you wanted to come in? I'm running short of time.
I just wanted to add over here, I think that though, again, as I said, I may be off the topic, but I think that if you're talking about, though, of course, as Brindaji said, it's not just a case of a male ego, but just going by media reports, no father in our country, particularly Indian culture, would accept the fact कि बेटी कमा के ला रही है और बेटी कमा के ला रही है and the father is probably taking off, that is helping that money is like a maintenance for him. So बेटी की कमाई खाना is not done. बेटे की कमाई खाना is okay. So बेटी की कमाई, because बेटी, as you said, is a paraya dhan, and you're less of a man. You know, you're not a man if you're living off your daughter. So that beti is always somebody who is lesser, who is much inferior to the brother and to the son. The beti should remain a beti, like the other previous speaker said, and as you also said, beti should probably be confined to the kitchen. You know, she should be looking after the cooking and the household chores.
You're so absolutely, you're so right.
Yes.
I'm born in 75. In school in 80s, I still remember the old textbooks in which the father is coming with an attache and the mother is cooking. You know, and now I think today that the idea of a motherhood, idea of a fatherhood, idea of what it means to be a good boy, good girl, these are the reflections of our social moods which get concretized by our education. And I think more than tough laws, the entire act needs to begin at home, you know. And I personally feel that both men and women are equally responsible in transmitting patriarchy or the patriarchal views, you know. Even the mothers need to instill discipline in their boys, good values in their boys. I think it will start there, and I don't think any of my panelists would disagree with me that both men and women have to come together to dilute this toxicity in our society. Thank you all of you for joining me, and this was On Point 1. In the second On Point, we look at the law against urban Naxals in Maharashtra, but after a short break.
ये गोल्डन एक तेरे लिए मंगाओ मेरे नए म्यूजिक गॉगल्स मंगाओ क्या
ये नई गाड़ी कप होल्डर है, कुकी भी रख सकते हैं, म्यूजिक भी।